In a town called Beiran, there is a young man named Ogata Shuu who runs a small business and lives as he pleases. In the city where he lives, there is a very rare source of orgonium energy, thus attracting the devils to come. Even though all the citizens seem to be living a very comfortable life, unexpectedly there was a demonic figure lurking there, which could attack them anytime. To prevent that, the government of Beiran created several demon hunter organizations. Shuu is one of the people who once joined the organization, experienced financial difficulties after quitting and founded his own organization. But even so, he is still able to survive thanks to Ayano, his ex-girlfriend who always gives him free food and pays all his household bills. Not only that, because it's a pity to see his life, Ayano gives a job to Shuu to hunt down demons that are wreaking havoc in the city. Having no money, of course the job was taken by Shuu with pleasure and he immediately returned home to prepare himself. While at home, Shuu is surprised by a girl named Kisara, who is a loyal demon partner, already in the house. When Shuu came back, Kisara looked happy but at the same time annoyed because she smelled another woman's scent on Shuu, which made her jealous. Even though she was annoyed, at that time Kisara still wanted to make dinner for Shuu. Because for her, she is happy enough if she can be a useful person for Shuu, she doesn't even care if Shuu always borrows money from her. The next day, a demon hunter organization holds a meeting and Shuu manages to win an auction for a monster exterminator project. Although the payment for the project is small, Shuu doesn't mind it as long as he can survive. In that project, Shuu works with Ayano's place to exterminate the monster. But it turned out that the monsters he faced this time were quite strong. Just as Shuu was about to get overwhelmed, Kisara came to his aid. Then Kisara asked Shuu to kiss her so she could use all her strength. Even though he had to, Shuu finally did the request and miraculously the kiss immediately reacted on Kisara's body so that he finally gained abundant strength. After that, together with Ayano, she slaughtered the monster blindly and in the end the two of them managed to defeat the monster. Later on a different day, Shuu looks very agitated because he misjudged his financial condition. Therefore, Shuu asks Ayano so he can work part-time. Finally, with Ayano's help, Shuu and Kisara are given the task of guarding the city's 25th anniversary party of Beiran and protecting the mayor from terrorist attacks. While at the party, the mayor was giving his speech, but suddenly a demon appeared from behind him trying to kill him. Luckily Kisara immediately came to catch it and took the demon out of there. The encounter with the demon caused a fight between them. Thanks to their cooperation, Kisara and Shuu managed to corner the demon. But the demon then ran away by jumping to the bottom of the building, but luckily a truck came and hit its body until it died. The next day, there was a major periodic power outage in downtown Beiran caused by a monster similar to a large insect. Therefore the demon hunters were assigned to catch it immediately. Quickly, the monster's whereabouts were immediately surrounded by many troops. But something unexpected happened, where when the monster was about to be frozen, it suddenly metamorphosed into a very strong butterfly. Of course normal weapons wouldn't be able to defeat it. Therefore, the strongest demon hunter that is Shuu will directly jump into the battlefield. To defeat the monster, Kisara needed stronger strength so the two of them kissed again. It turns out that all this time Shuu has always sacrificed his memories through a kiss to Kisara, so that those memories can be turned into extraordinary powers for Kisara. Then the two of them immediately launched their action, in which it didn't take long for the two of them to defeat the monster quickly. Some time has passed. Kisara suddenly witnesses a secret meeting between Ayano and a mysterious man and then takes a photo of the two of them. Kisara then uploaded the photo to social media to confirm Shuu's feelings for Ayano. The mysterious man named Mikami turns out to be a detective who is investigating a murder case a few days ago. The detective tries to dig up information from Ayano who happens to have seen him. Shuu, who was at the same place as Ayano at that time, knew about it. Therefore, in the evening Shuu came to Ayano with the hope that he could work together to solve the case that occurred. However, this was not welcomed by Ayano, where she was angry at Shuu for always forgetting memories with her. Kisara, who knew about the fight, came to meet Ayano and explained what really happened to Shuu. Kisara explained everything about Shuu sacrificing his memory and Shuu's goal of wanting to find the demon that had slaughtered his family. Thanks to that explanation, Ayano's view of Shuu finally began to slowly change. Elsewhere, Shuu was seen relaxing but suddenly an arrow sped towards him. On the arrow was information about a demon that had appeared at the headquarters. Knowing this, Shuu immediately went there using his bicycle and immediately barged into the headquarters. Inside, Shuu finally encounters a demoness who can come out through a mirror. Unfortunately, while the fight was still going on, the demoness managed to escape and failed to catch Shuu. But despite that, he and Detective Mikami managed to track her down, which turns out to be she on her way to Ayano's place. Ayano, who was alone at the time, was suddenly attacked by the demoness. Luckily, Kisara came at the right time and managed to fend off the demoness attack. Unfortunately, again, the demon managed to escape through a mirror that was there. Knowing that Ayano was the target of the female demon, she finally had to be quarantined in a safe place that had no mirrors. At the same time, Shuu was offered by Detective Mikami to exchange information. Detective Mikami reveals that he clearly knows Shu's past and he wants to help Shuu solve the problems in his past. Then after all that, Shuu headed to Ayano's place with the aim of protecting her if at any time the demoness appeared there. Sure enough, the demoness managed to appear there thanks to the reflection from the rain. Later, Kisara, who was also in the quarantine, immediately took Shu's memories to gain strength. Luckily, with the power that Kisara now has, they can defeat the female demon together. After that incident, Ayano is now enjoying alone time with Shuu. Ayano returned to visit Shu's house, and even helped Shuu clean his house. To remember that moment, Ayano also uploaded a portrait of herself at Shu's house on social media. Kisara, who saw that, finally got even more irritated with Ayano's presence by Shu's side. She then recalled her first meeting with Shuu, where Shuu released a sword that was stuck in her body. When Shuu released the sword, Kisara finally got back up and immediately attacked Shuu. Luckily at that time Shuu managed to calm her down and even made a contract with her. Meanwhile, in the middle of the love triangle story between Kisara, Shuu and Ayano, an unexpected incident occurred in Beiran City. Somewhere seen a woman wearing a nun's dress, named Sharon, is doing battle with several people from the Demon Hunter organization. Sharon is known as a girl who has powers like monsters, so it's easy for her to beat them. It is known that Sharon's purpose in coming there was to find Kisara's whereabouts. At the same time, Shuu meets a mysterious informant who keeps him informed. He was given a recording showing Sharon attacking members of the organization. The informant also gave information about Sharon being from the Seitenkyokai group and asked Shuu to be careful of Sharon because that group is the strongest and largest group of hunter in the world. To find Kisara, Sharon came to meet Ayano's mother, who is the boss of one of the demon hunter, and forced her to reveal Kisara's whereabouts. Luckily Ayano at that time immediately came to fight Sharon. However, due to the battle that occurred between the two of them, Sharon managed to get Ayano's cell phone. Thanks to that, Sharon was able to find out about Kisara and Shu's whereabouts. Then without further ado, Sharon finally met them and was immediately involved in a fierce battle. From that fight, Shuu received quite serious injuries while Kisara was able to attack her several times, but unfortunately at that time Sharon ran away. As a result of the injuries he received, Shuu was finally hospitalized. While there, Kisara revealed about her, Shuu and Sharon's relationship, in which Shuu previously had Sharon's help to calm Kisara during their first meeting. At first the relationship between the three of them was going well, but suddenly Sharon wanted to kill Kisara, so Shuu couldn't help but take Kisara away. To stop Sharon's actions, Kisara went to stop her. When Kisara arrived at Sharon's hideout, they immediately got into an extraordinary battle. With a new tool that she has, Sharon was able to injure Kisara, almost defeating her. It's just that at that time Shuu came to help Kisara and made Kisara able to defeat Sharon. After finishing their business with Sharon, Kisara and Shuu finally returned home, while Sharon was held in jail. Then based on the information that Sharon gave, Kisara found out about Asmodeus, a demon who has now changed its appearance. Asmodeus has transcended time and has continued to travel the world for over 100 years. Asmodeus' goal is to create demonic possession and hurt humanity. Besides that, it turns out that it is also a disaster and a true enemy who has killed the Shuu family, as well as taking his sister. Then, it was said that the demon was also involved in the origin of the Oregonium, which was the foundation of Beiran City's prosperity. Now the situation in Beiran City has become critical because a battle has taken place that will determine the fate of humans and demons. The next day at Shu's house, Detective Mikami and co try to find out the truth behind the previous destruction. They predict the possibilities of people getting involved in collaborating with the demon. Until one day, when Detective Mikami managed to find out the identity of the mastermind behind it all. Unwanted things happened to Detective Mikami and surprised everyone enough, where he was shot dead by someone. After Detective Mikami's death, something even more shocking and unexpected emerges. When Shuu and Kisara went to the location where the shooting occurred, they both met the informant who had been providing information to Shuu. At that meeting, a chase occurred which resulted in the informant being cornered. It turned out that the informant was Mikhail Hachisuka, who served as police chief. Then they were taken to a place of control belonging to Mikhail. There, Mikhail watched the movements of the entire city with surveillance cameras. It didn't stop there. Mikhail also showed a video where Detective Mikami was killed by someone. After conducting a thorough inspection with the surveillance cameras, in the end Shuu found out who was the mastermind who killed Detective Mikami. The killer turns out to be a colleague of Detective Mikami, named Miles, who had previously hung out at Shu's house. Furthermore, the demon exterminator troops immediately hunted down Miles, who is now claimed to be a level A criminal. The organization that took care of this mission was Ayano's mother's organization, where she won an auction to get the mission to catch Miles. But at that time, Mikhail was furious because the fees taken by Ayano's mother were too cheap. It is known that Ayano's mother did all of this because she already knew that Mikhail did not want to bring Shuu and Miles together. Mikhail is afraid that Miles will tell Shuu that he has managed to find Shu's younger sister who was lost due to a demon attack a long time ago. He didn't want to tell that to Shuu because he wanted to use Shuu as he pleased. When all his secrets were exposed, Mikhail became frustrated. Meanwhile, Sharon, who was previously arrested and put in prison, has now managed to escape from there. On the other hand, Shuu, who managed to meet Miles, looks very reluctant to fight Miles because he knows that Miles took care of him when he lost his family. But not long after, Miles suddenly turned into a demon. He is then attacked by an army of demon hunters, but to no avail. Even Sharon who came there couldn't beat Miles just like that. Seeing the troops being pressed, Shuu finally decided to sacrifice his memory about Miles. But the risk of what he did would make him lose his identity. Finally, after Kisara got power from Shu's memories, Kisara immediately attacked Miles blindly, also assisted by Shuu. While in the fight, Miles is seen in the past with the Shuu family, where they hunt demons together. Even the closeness they have makes them feel like a big family. However, since his son is sick, Miles gets an offer from Asmodeus who promises to heal his son as long as Miles obeys all orders. It turns out that when he and the Shuu family were in the Orgonium mine, it was revealed that the real Asmodeus was Shu's mother. Miles also takes Shu's sister, Kana Ogata, to another place, while Shuu will be cared for by him according to orders. Knowing that he had been betrayed by his own wife, Shu's father blew up the place. Fortunately, even though the place was in ruins, Shuu managed to survive thanks to Miles' demonic powers that protected him. However, it's a shame that Miles' memories are only known by Kisara, making it difficult for her to explain to Shuu the fact that his mother is Asmodeus. After that incident, they finally gathered together somewhere. There Kisara reveals all the memories she got from Miles, including about Kana being kidnapped by Asmodeus. But at that time she hid the fact about Asmodeus' real identity, which turned out to be Shu's mother. On the other hand, Shuu who had lost his identity looked confused as he barely knew anything since the previous battle. Apart from that, it is also known that Asmodeus' goal of kidnapping Kana was to prove that humans can coexist with demons, as well as making Kana the entrance between the two worlds. After knowing this, they immediately searched for Kana's whereabouts, which she was in the Orgonium mine. But at the same time, Mikhail hid information about the whereabouts of the mine from the others. Therefore Ayano tried to meet Mikhail's younger sister, named Linfa Hachisuka, and asked her to tell the location of the mine. But in the middle of the trip, the organization suddenly attacked them and thought that Ayano had kidnapped Linfa. Just as Ayano was about to be arrested, luckily Shuu immediately came by helicopter to pick her up. Not only that, Ayano finally managed to get information from Linfa about the whereabouts of the Orgonium mine, so Ayano and Shuu headed there directly by helicopter. Meanwhile, Kisara and Sharon had preceded them to the Orgonium mine. Then when they both got into the mine, Sharon got out of control and tried to kill Kana, because she thought Kana was a very dangerous demon. Unlike Sharon, Kisara tries desperately to protect her and considers Kana to be her family. Later, Mikhail who knew about it finally got annoyed and launched a satellite attack on the venue. But Asmodeus, who was in Kana's body, got up to stop the attack. In the end, Sharon and Kisara tried to fight Asmodeus there. Meanwhile, Shuu who had also arrived there immediately helped the two of them. When Kisara was fighting Kana, surprisingly she was stabbed by a spear right in front of Shuu. Assisted by Ayano and Sharon, Shuu fled to a safer place leaving Kisara. Meanwhile, when Kana's weapon pierced Kisara's body, she accidentally saw a flashback of Shu's memories where it turned out that Kana could see all of Shu's memories. Then after seeing that memory, Kisara tried to attack Kana again but failed, causing herself to be seriously injured. Seeing the increasingly chaotic situation, Mikhail immediately launched a single attack up to 2 times right at Kana to make her sink to the bottom of the sea. Meanwhile, Kisara, who was seriously injured, was finally taken to a safe place to get treatment. However, at that time Kisara seemed to have fainted completely and seemed to have no signs of life. Shuu, who saw it, couldn't do anything and could only stare at Kisara, who was lying in the hospital, hoping that Kisara would regain consciousness. Shuu is even willing to leave Bayron City even if his memory doesn't return, as long as he can continue to be with Kisara. Then there Sharon also revealed the situation regarding Kana, who has now been claimed as an S-class demon, and if Kisara cannot fight Kana then they will lose hope and prepare to accept the slaughter. Later that night, Kisara finally regained her senses. Shuu, who was there, looked very happy and revealed that he would sacrifice everything including his memory for the sake of strengthening Kisara. But Kisara refused because she didn't want Shuu to be damaged. Therefore, Kisara returned all of Shuu's memories that she had taken. But not only Shuu's memories have returned, but also Kisara's memories are now owned by Shuu, which causes Kisara not to remember who she is. On the other hand, Kana, who has now resurrected, creates panic throughout the city. Even the mayor seemed overwhelmed by questions from the public. Meanwhile, Mikhail had prepared the battle area and kept the local residents away from the place. Meanwhile, Shuu, who has Kisara's memory, finally learns the truth all along. Therefore, now Shuu promised Kisara that he would always protect her. Before going to the battlefield, Shuu prepares the weapon he will use against Kana. Elsewhere, government officials are also trying to find a way out to maintain autonomy and so on. Meanwhile, Ayano and her troops began to attack. Kana, who saw Ayano's presence there, immediately chased after her without knowing why. Ayano continued to fight with all her might, but unfortunately she couldn't withstand the ferocious attacks of that S-class demon. Until when Ayano was cornered, Shuu then came and saved her. Sharon was also there to help defeat Kana. Now a small corner of Bayron City has become a battlefield between humans and demons filled with explosions and flames. The three of them finally together against Kana. When Shuu was ready to kill Kana using Kisara's weapon, suddenly he stopped his intention because he saw Kana's tears. In the end, Shuu became off guard and was attacked by Kana until he was thrown away. When Shuu was almost cornered, Kisara suddenly appeared and tried to help Shuu even though her memory had not returned. Kisara only believed that she had to trust Shuu and fight Kana. Together with her friends, Kisara tried to attack Kana at the same time. Got an unexpected attack, making Kana finally overwhelmed by the attacks that kept coming towards her. Therefore, Kana released 3 high-level monsters. Luckily, the organization was ready to confront the monsters. Thanks to that, Shuu and Kisara can calm down against Kana. As usual, to gain strength, Kisara kisses Shuu so that she can match Kana's strength. While Kisara was desperately fighting against Kana, Shuu waited for the right moment to shoot. Even though at that time Asmodeus had come out through Kana's body, but it was immediately killed by Kisara. After the demon sign was broken, Kana finally regained her senses and was greeted happily by Shuu. A few days later, the city of Bayron finally entered a period of recovery, while Kana was being held under the city because she was still considered a threat. On the other hand, Sharon said goodbye to Ayano because she was asked to return to her native place. Meanwhile, Shuu returned home with Kisara, but when he arrived at home, it turned out that there was Kana who had escaped from custody. Even though Shuu is liked by 3 women, this turns out to make Shuu's life even more difficult. But even so, Shuu was very happy because after everything that happened, he finally had so many moments with them.